Hello everyone, this is me, Iman Leadershipwali, your host, and welcome to my another podcast series. That's in a series is like this show. Through this session, I connect with inspiring to explore how learning, experience, and technology can through change life. Let's begin conversation and discover something new together. So, welcome to the my show. Today I have a very and interesting guest. Excited to welcome Robin, a visionary who turned complex challenges into impactful brands. Experience. He empower communities, drive social changes, and create solutions that help people thrive. Let's give him a warm welcome. So thank you so much, sir. Welcome to the show, and how are you?
I am good, thank you. Thank you for having me. How are you? Yes, just it's muted at the moment. It's okay.
Sorry, my laptop was hanging, so that's why I'm not replying. So, sir, my first question is that please introduce yourself with me and my viewers.
Hello, I'm Robin Hughes. I'm the Chief Experience Officer at Connector Academy and Your Future Games. Um, so I my background is when I was young, I've had a lot of health problems from all my life, and my drive has been partly because I see the problems in the world. I want to help other people. I want to make a difference. So my initial thing was I found out about environmental problems and desertification, and then over time my health problems became a big issue. So I had to focus on trying to fix my health. And on the journey, I've been a long journey, and I've learned a lot on the way. And part of that journey led me to I was sick for a long time. I couldn't work, and I gradually rebuilt my health. I worked with startups, helping startups, and then I've worked with a lot of interesting people over time. Done a lot of work for free, and I built up my health till at the moment. I I've half a month since I discovered the last key to my health, the last key puzzle piece to my health. So anyway, I came to Cambodia. I met one of Cambodia's top interpreters while I was here, and he shared with me his vision, and we had a shared vision, and he really inspired me. And so I've ended up coming back to Cambodia to start an academy here called Connector Academy. And what I'm building ultimately is something called Connector, which is what we call a brand experience or social experience platform. So it's like the next generation of social network like Facebook or LinkedIn, but it's different because what I'm doing is I'm synergizing learning, work, play, and well-being. So I'm synergizing the different areas of life, and so that you can learn, earn, and play and have fun all at the same time. So I'm bringing everything together. So it's going to change how we live, because at the moment we have everything segmented out, and like synergy is about the sum being more than the parts. So when we bring them together, we can achieve more. And I've seen that in my own life when I've done things that I can work harder and longer than other people, right? I can achieve more because I learn from other people. So this is a really just one tip. The key to learning fast effectively is humility, because you have to be able to listen and learn from other people. One of the reasons America is so powerful and everything is because, and people, the people have a lot of wealth is because they learn from other people. That's the secret, right? They learn from other people. The people traveled and they learned from many different cultures and many different peoples, and that's the secret. So, connector, the concept behind connector is about building connection, building relationships, right? So, well, part of the idea when I was doing it was I was studying and we had to do a project on the we had to do a project relating to health, and thought about it, and I thought, well, there is lots of solutions out there already, right? There's lots of solutions. There's lots of people that have got different solutions to health problems. There's lots of communities and organizations and groups with all sorts of solutions. The problem isn't having enough solutions. The problem is getting access to it. It might be out there and free, sometimes, but if you don't not connected with it, you miss out. So it's about accessibility, right? And so that's really cool. So you work at um, mental blank. Where do you work? You work at Rehan School, right?
Yes, you carry on.
You work at
And
Rehan School,
thank you so
and
much
and Rehan
for that.
School,
Uh,
yes.
uh,
Yeah, Rehan School is
no, no, you
helping
carry
to
on.
helping to provide access to learning in Pakistan, right? And then it's expanding around the world using AI, which I understand is something you're very passionate about. You're passionate about AI and how you can use AI to help and make a difference. So that's really cool, right? Yes.
Thank you so much, Robin, for the huge answer give my viewers and me, and it's too informative for us. And I really appreciate your answers and all about that. So, sir, uh, who shaped your career the most? Can you hear me?
That is a very hard one because um, there's been a number of people over time. If I look at
Yeah.
game development and my game producing side of things, then I have a mentor called his name is Scott Jacobson, and he's a retired now game design teacher in high school in America. And I learned quite a lot from him about rapid prototyping and about game design and that. So he influenced me a lot relating to that. In terms of getting involved with education, Rexa Ross, he influenced me a lot in Cambodia. So considered him like an honorary co-founder because back in the beginning we spent that time dreaming together about the future, and we had something in common called the Leadership Development Character Institute that we both had been involved with, and we're both trying to help. And I was very inspired by what he said. He talked about things like high living, simple living, high thinking, and concepts like that, which is really cool. It's very hard because there's a lot of people, but there are two key people that have made a big influence on me.
All right. So, Uh, so my next question about today's interview, education and learning. It's most important as you know about that. So question is that how did your educational background prepare you to this unique career?
Well, we're called developmentally delayed. So I had problems from pretty much the get go. So my brother went, he'd had a fall, and he went for help, and to make sure everything was in alignment and everything, and also he has learning disability, he has dyslexia. So I'm not sure completely how that all fit in, but when he went for treatment, the lady's like, has that boy that was talking to about me, talking to my mum, has he always been that happy and quiet and subdued, kind of thing? And my mum's like, yes, he's always been like that. Okay, so then she did some manipulation on my cranium, and she said, you know, he won't be like that anymore. So after that, so the skull was pressing down on my brain, causing developmental delay because my brain wasn't working properly. And after that, I went through the terrible twos, and I started to develop more normally, but later. And then I have other health problems. So basically, my education experience was starting from behind, developmentally behind, socially behind, and uncoordinated. There's a thing called, they've written in the audit report about dyspraxia, which is a condition where people lack coordination, and it can be caused by tight muscles. So yes, I had very tight muscles, been pain for most of my life, a lot of pain. Well, really, all of my life, really. So a lot of pain, digestion problems. But what it did into my education is, I learned to push through. I learned to push through the difficulties. I got the right help and support. I got enough of the right help and support, especially because my brother was before me. He got help, and then I would get help as a result, like because he opened the path. So I got help with writing and reading, and I got a lot of help. And then I ended up in extension. So, like I doing extra extension class or doing extra extension exams. So that impacted me a lot. My developmental delay and my brain fog, and there's a thing called slow cognitive tempo, which is basically when your brain operates at a slower speed, right? So you can imagine that your brain just tick over slower. And if you think about, like, if your brain like in a fog and you're trying to think and you cannot hold the thoughts in your head, you go to explain it to somebody and it's gone, and you're just like pushing through all the time. And in order to concentrate, you're pushing through the pain and the fog in the brain, and it just made it hard. So my difficulties, my struggles, that has made a big impact on me. For one example, my philosophy is about allowing yourself to succeed, creating, as I study strategy, in the strategy. There's a strategy academy, and I got into that for free, so that was good. I managed to get into that. But anyway, the strategy that he talks about is creating the conditions for success. So it's about allowing yourself to succeed by creating the right conditions, right? But when I was young, right, I always try very hard. I wanted to succeed, so I try very hard. And what actually happens is, when you try too hard, it actually blocks you to be able to succeed. You need to relax and allow. So when I'm teaching my students how to hold a pen, I teach them to relax, and it's just the pen's just resting there, and they have more control by being relaxed and allowing things to happen. So yeah, that, I mean, it's really impacted my philosophy for teaching and for life and for everything. Yes, no, I wouldn't wish my experience on anybody, right? But through it, I have learned a lot of things the hard way, right? And when you learn things the hard way, sometimes you have to look through the detail. You have to understand more deeply how things work in order to work around them and to find a way through. Um, so yes, I don't come from a traditional education background. In fact, I was too sick to study properly from 15. I finished high school, but I was sick from 15 onwards, very sick, very, very sick. And I couldn't work. I couldn't study properly, but I kept doing what I could. I helped startups and did odd jobs, gardening, did what I could when I was feeling up to it. And I got what the thing that one of the pivotal moments for me was when I was sick, and I was playing games to distract myself, and I thought, I'm putting all this work into playing these games. I thought, what wouldn't it be great if I could be learning more? And I looked around for games where I could learn. Wouldn't it be good if I could put this effort in, I could have this fun and distraction, and I could learn something useful, right? What if I could be learning useful things instead of learning stuff there's stuff you have to learn in the games, but it's not relevant to real life. Like, it's not something that you're leveling up your life and it help you to work and earn more money. No, right? It doesn't, improve your health or level you up in any way. It just help you to play games. And the other thing is, if you're putting all this work in, you should be able to create value. You should be able to create things useful to people. And if you're creating things useful to people, then you should get paid money. So I think, what if and this is a theme that I've had, what if we could what if we could level this up? What if we could synergize and bring learning, work, and play and well-being all together, and we could help, particularly the people that have difficulty at the gap between learning and work. In that gap where people have various issues or difficulties that mean it's difficult to move through. It's actually difficult to some degree for most people, right, to move between there. There's a lot of friction and difficulties because school and education is not well set up for helping you to learn the skills you need for work and for life. I mean, even you look at it, you think that the first thing that you should learn when you're learning is how to learn effectively, right? I remember we started learning how to learn at the last year of school. And I thought, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Why are we learning about how to learn in the last year of school? So yeah, yeah. So yeah, I've lost where I was, what we were talking about actually. But yes.
I really hear to clear, and it's really painful, and it's really interesting as well. And you're right, education, it's important for us, and like I really that's something we all need to understand about that and his work. So thank you uh, for education and your health. So Robin,
Yes.
what advice would you give a student aiming for a career in social impact or design?
That's a good question, actually.
Thank you.
That's a very good question. I just also mention that Rehan School, right? The focus of Rehan School is on using you use the skills, right? The skills that
Yes,
you need to succeed in work. And this is the same idea with
yes,
the
yes,
Leadership Character Development Institute. This is what you need for work. You go and you interacting with people, you're connecting with people, you're learning how to communicate with people, you're learning skills that are useful that you can provide to people. It's actively, it's connected, right? It's connected with, learning's been connected with work. And that's very powerful. Yes, your question, advice for a social impact. If you want to make social impact, a lot of social impact, um, start small. Okay, small. I made a lot of mistake in. I always want to solve big problem. Like I'm focused on the most difficult problems there are, and how do we solve them. And my advice to other people is, all you need to do to make a difference is be able to smile. Right, that's all you need. When you smile, and somebody else, they end up smiling as well, and you make yourself feel better, you make them feel better, and it helps in so many ways. It helps our mood. It helps us to feel more safe and comfortable. So we tend to more likely to pass it on. So somebody smiled to you, then you smile to someone else, and they smile. It's called ripple effect, right? And it helps people's well-being, and it helps the ability to connect. They connect with better with other people, and they deal with problems better. They're more resilient, right? So when things are problem, that smile could make the difference for somebody. That could actually be the difference between they could be look fine, but they could be ready to give up on life, and they could be about to just say that's enough and end their life, right? And that smile could be the difference between life and death. That smile could be the spark of hope, the spark of possibility of something better, of a different way. Okay, because when people are struggling like that, they feel a loss of connection, they feel a loss of safety, and they feel a lot of pain. And when the smile, and it help, like pain relief, like it make us feel better, right? It help us to relax. So small things build into big things, right? So if you want to make a difference in the world, the most important work that you have to do is inside yourself, internal. The most important work you have is internal, with leveling up yourself. So, people talk about AI, and I think, there's a lot useful about AI, but what I'm more passionate about is leveling up people, right? How can we be better? How can we be better? AI can be a useful tool, but we're trying to get AI and robot and stuff to improve, and then we get the risk of being left behind. But what if we can keep improving? The problem with AI is design, right? The design is flawed. The design of AI is flawed, very, very deeply flawed, because we don't understand enough. We don't, and we're not able to apply enough of the right theory, because the human brain is brilliant, right? It's absolutely brilliant, and to try to imitate that with technology is very difficult. And that's one of the limitation, is that when they're trying to imitate, they're not connecting between, like thinking, this is the way the human brain works. What if we use that for AI? We use similar concept, then maybe we could get AI working a lot better. But AI has potential to create a lot of suffering if it abused, right? A lot of suffering, right? If a lot of it's potential for good and potential for harm, like many things. Anybody that
Yes, yes,
do
you're right.
anything that provide any type of tool or something, anything useful, can potentially be used for harm. And I think humanity is very arrogant in some ways. We're very arrogant. We like to think that we know thing, and we have difficulty learning because we think that we know thing already. We think we're clever, right? But the difficulty is that we are flawed, right? We're deeply flawed. You see, who's the richest person in the world is Elon Musk, and he is a very deeply flawed person, because we know this because the way that he treats people, the way he treats his workers, and that he look for people that have a huge drive and that are going to work themselves almost into the grave. They're going to work really, really hard. And he's not good with working, particularly good with working. He can inspire people, he can entertain people, but when it comes to allowing people to succeed, he doesn't have it, right? He doesn't have it when it comes to allowing people to succeed. He doesn't understand the Taoism have a concept of effortless action. He doesn't understand, right? He understands a lot about efficiency, and he understands a lot about things. He is ahead of everybody else, right? In many ways, he's ahead of everybody else in many ways. That's why he is successful, because he gets enough things right. But if he is the best that we have, that's very sad, right? That's very sad. The bar is very, very low. And we're focusing on leveling up robot and AI, and we're forgetting about us. We have so much room for improvement. When I learn about health, because I was sick, I had to learn a lot about health. There is stuff we can do to improve a lot, right? There is the knowledge out there, but we need to connect it. We need to use it, right? For example, prebiotics, right? Like fiber, right? The bacteria and the microbiome in our gut is amazing, right? But humans have obsession with um, processing food. We take the sugar or the bit that's not very useful, and then we chuck out the bit that is good. We chuck out the good bit. With vitamin discovery, the name vitamin come from B vitamin, which became from rice bran, right? They gave the rice bran to the pig, and they gave the white rice to the humans, and the humans got sick. They got beriberi. Okay, discovery of vitamins. Okay, so we do that with sugar. We do that with many things. We process things, and we take the addictive part, right? We take the addictive part that not much nutrition. Our body thinks, oh, this food should have a lot of good stuff for us in it. It's supposed to have, but it's been taken out. So we keep eating, our body thinks, oh, there should be stuff, but it's just trick. We trick. It's just a trick. And it's a trick that makes people a lot of money. It makes a huge amount of money. I see people talking about branding, and say they like to talk about Coca-Cola. The Coca-Cola amazing branding. They're selling poison. They're selling diabetes, right? They're selling cancer, right?
Yes, yes, I agree. I
Why are we
agree.
celebrating that? Why are we celebrating that?
I don't know why we are celebrating Coca-Cola and other things.
Yeah, I mean, they were clever, right? They got their brand associated with giving and Christmas, right?
Agree, 100% agree with you.
It's clever, right? It's clever, but it's evil. It's evil clever, and we don't want that, right? We don't want evil clever. We want wholesome. Want wholesome stuff. We don't want social media that's addictive, right? People come to social media because they expect to be able to build connection with people. But what do they actually get? They feel more lonely and disconnected than ever, right? Because there's a promise of connection. There's all these photos. There's all this stuff happening. There's a promise of connection. But for many people, it doesn't really work properly. Right? It doesn't work properly. It's designed to be addictive. And that's where the money is, right? In the traditional model, you earn money by exploiting other people, by taking advantage. Okay? If you want to make impact on the world, don't do that. Okay? Create value, add, improve, make better. Don't be selfish. Don't focus on yourself. Focus on how you can help other people, how you can make a difference for other people. So, for me, for problem solving, I have to understand how people think. I have to understand their behavior. And then I can use that to help people. I can use that to help them to move from addictive behaviors and mindset to positive mindset. Okay. And I told you before about how I have this campaign for my birthday tomorrow that I haven't really started properly. But the thing with mindset is there's a bi-directional link between our mindset and our behaviors. Okay. And this is very important, between our mindset and our behaviors, because our mindset, when we have a good mindset, we have a growth mindset, we have a rich mindset, our behaviors reflect that. When we believe, we do, right? There's also a link between our action and our belief. There's a connection between our love and our kindness and our patience and what we do. It's connected. If you say you have love, and you don't do the action of love, then do you really have love, or you just deceive yourself, right? If you say you believe but you don't do the action of belief, you just deceive yourself, right? It's not true, right? Because if you love, it demands. You have to act on it. You have no choice. Right? There's no freedom here. There's no freedom of choice. Love demand that you act in love. Belief demand that you act in belief. There's no freedom. There's no freedom here, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, you have no choice. It demands that you do it. If you don't do it, you are making a choice, but you become a slave to something else, right? What do you serve? You're self-serving our selfishness, right? And we become slave to that, and we have no choice. We have a sense of no choice. We keep going that way. We're scrolling, doom scrolling through social media, right? So we free from two. So if we're free from selfishness, then we in a way we're slave to doing the right thing, right? But if we are free from doing the right thing, then we are slave to selfishness. So we talk a lot about freedom, but yeah, that's a whole topic. So yes, where were we? Yes, so about this campaign, right? Yes, so if you want to have rich mindset, if you want to have success in your life, maybe you want to have success because you want to have money, or maybe you're like me who want to make it different. I couldn't care less about money, except that you need money to be able to do things. So it's kind of important. I went through a phase where I kind of like reject money, reject people, just like, reject everything because in pain, pain from life. But what you need to do is you need to practice good behavior. So the example that I use a lot is trash, rubbish, right? If you pick up, I remember at school, right? There was a guy. He was the fastest long distance runner in my age group at school, and he'll win by a long way. And he always, you see him, he at lunch break, he always he just going around picking up rubbish and putting trash and putting it in the bin, right? No reward for it. Why does he do it? People just drop it on the ground again, right? So why do it? Now, the reason to do it is because it's good for your mind. It's a habit, and you're training your mind. You are this link between what you believe and what you do, between your love and your action. You're making it real. You're embedding this pathway. You want this pathway. You don't want a pathway of selfishness. It leads to pain and suffering, right? You don't want that one. You want to choose the easier path. Sometimes it feels hard, but it can be easier. You know, one of the people that influenced me a lot is a friend who teaches emotional freedom technique, right? And she always said to me in the past, she said, "What if it can be easier? What if it can be easier?" Right? It can be easier, right? We know that, right? We know that, you know, Christianity, Taoism. I presume I don't know quite as much because I've been looking a bit more at this. I don't know quite so much about Buddhism and Quran. I've read through it, but I scanned through it, but I didn't really enjoy reading it very much. So yeah, the thing is that they teach you about you know, ideas around things being easier. Like for a Christian, so the Bible talks about Jesus says that his yoke is easy, his burden is light, right? That there's something about the way what he teach about not needing to worry and about acting in belief. The main thing is love. He said, as I say, God is love. That's who he is. God is love, right? If you don't believe in God, believe in love, right? And if you believe in love, then in a way you're believing in God, because that that is who God is. He is love. He is also light, but love, everything else come out of that one idea, everything come out. Even, you know, people think are bad, like people don't like the idea of judgment, for example, right? But why is there judgment? The reason there is judgment is because freedom for one person is not freedom from other. If people are free to harm each other and be unkind and hurtful, then that's not good. So that's why there has to be some means of ultimately removing the evil, right? Removing the suffering. The suffering, it teaches us, it helps us, it gives us a choice. We have a choice what way to go, and then we can choose whether we want to choose love, belief, life, or we want to choose selfishness, suffering. And that's why we suffer a lot. Is a big reason why we suffer a lot is because we choose doubt, we choose fear, we choose selfishness, we choose greed, we choose, you know, we choose all this bad stuff, and it really makes it hard for us. What if we just believe, you know? Do you believe in love, you know? That's what it comes down to, right? If we believe in love, you know, people talk about peace. Love is the answer, right? We need to be open to having love in our heart, and then that demand the right action, that demand the right behavior. But how do we train our mind? How do we train our heart? Through the small things, through smiling, through picking up the trash. When we drop the trash or the rubbish on the ground, we're practicing lack of care. It's not kind. It's bad for the environment. You know, there's so many reasons. It's not good. It's practicing that. So when you go to do your work, are you going to do a good job? You know, people builder and they're using concrete. Am I going to find plastic embedded in the concrete? Yeah, I see that. I've seen that. The plastic literally embedded in the concrete because they're not careful. You know, people are not careful. So if we do that, what do we expect, right? If the rich thinking, go up. Poor thinking, go down. We have to choose. We choose, right? We choose. And some people start from a more unlucky place than other people, right? So there's some country that, you know, everybody used to be poor, but some people develop. And what happened is, how do they develop? Well, basically, as people mass produce, they earn money. Then they think they need to want to earn more money. They want to have more thing, and so they have to increase their quality, because otherwise, as people have more money, they demand quality, right? They don't want to buy something that's going to break. They don't want to buy something that has problems. They don't want the problems. They want to pay for something that works. So they're prepared to pay a lot more for something that works. So if you want to buy better quality, then you need to earn more. And to earn more, you need to do better quality. And so it just go up like this. So it's hard if you come from a poor environment where you have not been educated, you have not been people around you that spread the right values. It's hard. You know, first with my health, I live a lot of poverty in my mindset because I can't do this. I'm sick. I can't do that. I can't do the other thing. I can't all these things I cannot do. I could not do because I was too sick. Right. So, and you know, for where I was, I didn't have much money. Right. I was poor, relatively poor for where I was. I was reliant on the government to provide the money I had needed to live. So I understand. I understand it's difficult. And that's why, you know, I with my academy, and this is something that I mentioned to Rehan School as well, that I want to make it so that uh, all the students go to school, right? Instead of stay home to work, to help the family earn money, I want them all to come to school. I want them to all to learn. So how do they do that? It needs to be more worthwhile for them to come to school. If there's a student getting paid to come to school, right? They get paid more than they can earn at home, they're going to come to school, right? Because the parents like, we need money. The best way for us to get money is just to send our kids to school. Problem solved, okay? Okay, sure, a lot of problems with that, potential problems with that, but you think about the possibility, right? You think about what could be achieved if the money can be found to make this work on scale, to make on massive scale. If we could get all the student learning and improving, and we could focus on teaching mindset skills and the skills that are useful for work and improving society, right? So I think there's some alignment between what I'm trying to do and what Rehan School is trying to do, right? We're trying to make the world better, right? And we focus on mindset and skills for life and for work.
Oh, like really appreciate it. Uh, I think I don't have any question because you said you have properly answering, and the Coca-Cola example is too much good. It's point to be noted. But yes, he really sell poison and diabetes and cancer, but people not agree with that. Uh, they they have. I'm also drink a Coca-Cola sometime, but it's not good for us. I'm really agree, and love is too important for us. So, Robin, what about you thinking? You have then like idea, communication, and interviews is most important for pupils. Uh, can you please explain it?
So yeah, I
Can you
basically what
understand
I
my
teach
question?
my one thing I teach my student is when we communicate, everything we say, they either basically bring us closer together or further apart. So we come on too strong, people like try to go back, right? And so what we're doing is connecting with people's heart and the mind. So we need to communicate in ways that work for other people. We need to create the safety, the comfort for people to open up and feel safe to share and that. So yeah, there's one tip that something I came across, you know, because I always interested to see what other people are talking about, and I think this is really useful. Is that apparently they went in, you know, the popular kids at school and who's popular, so they look for the common element between popular people, and they didn't find exactly what they were expecting. What they found was that people that people like, the thing that had common, that they want to like people. They want to like people, right? So, you know, that comes really close to something very powerful, curiosity, right? If you're curious, you're asking questions, you really you sort of want to know about people, not just, generally we talk about connection. You want to find things in common, but when you get curious, you become interested in things that are different as well, right? Um, but in terms of the actual wanting to like someone, um, you notice you notice something about them. You look out for something to like, right? We look for something to like, and when you find things that like, and you comment on it, and really appreciative of the positive things. um, you know, I had a look at your profile, right? And I had a look at you, and I thought, this is somebody that seemed to have good attitude, and somebody that I feel that could be good to talk to, worthwhile to talk to, right? So when we point things like that out to people, we point out positive things, then they open up. They feel safer to open up and to contribute. So we really want to look for positive things, to notice. We want to notice the positive, the good things. And when we focus on the good things, people they want to be better, right? So there's a good and bad aspect to that. Bad aspect is manipulation. Okay, so I explain how bullies use it, right? How bullies use it is they use it to manipulate, because when they're nice to people, right? They like it, they love it, and they want more of it, or they notice them being nice to somebody else, and they think, well, if I want people to be like that to me, right? So they strive to try to please them because they want the reward of positivity. But where that turns really ugly is where people that are using this concept of, whether consciously or unconsciously, they are using it for power, right? They notice the positive things about other people in order to control and to be popular. And so they can decide that they don't like somebody, or there's something unusual or weird about somebody, and they can use the reward mechanism to turn everybody against some poor helpless victim, right? Some poor person or group of people become the victim, and all those people that they think that they're logical and they behave rationally, they so want that approval, they so want that they don't seem to recognize that what they're doing, that they are abusing people, that they are doing harm, that they're joining in really bad things, because they so badly want that connection, they so badly want it, that they go along with it, and their logic distorted. Okay, this is similar to another concept. When people have empathy, maybe they feel empathetic for themselves, or they feel empathetic for someone else. They focus on that. And so other things outside of that, empathy is gone. Empathy is gone. So this is how people can get away with despicable, horrible things. You think, why don't people stop them? Why do they join in? It's because they get locked into this reward mechanism, and their logic flow out the window. They take on whatever the leader or bully or whatever, the bad person, Hitler, or any of there's a Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge. They take on whatever these people say because they so want them to be. They so want the reward. They so want what's offered, right? That that they turn to hate. They turn to fear, they turn to hate, and they do despicable things. Right? This is why we have war and suffering and so many problems, because people have selective empathy. We talk about psychopaths and sociopaths. Well, psychopaths actually have a problem with their brain, but they're usually not so much of a problem. They're born with the brain differently, so that they don't feel as much. But the sociopaths, they lack empathy because of the pain that they've experienced in their life, because people mistreat them, and they're hurting, and hurt people hurt. They hurt other people. They turn off. So the empathy, because of the pain, is directed one way, and another way they do harm. Right? They do harm to people, and it's the opposite of the smile. We talk about the smile. You talk about acts of care and kindness. Right? That spreads ripples of good, of love, of belief, of light. Whereas this other way, it spread ripples of darkness, of terror. And it's terrible. Does that make sense?
All right, and I really appreciate that. Uh, so thank you so much for lots of information, and your answer is really really informative for us and motivated also. But I have a class in my online uh, class, so that's why it's time to ending right now,
Yes,
and the
it's the right
closing.
time.
Thank you so much again, Robin. So thank you so much, Robin, for taking that time to share your incredible journey, insight, and vision with us today. Your work is transforming complex challenges into impactful brands, experience, empowering communities, communities, and supporting social changes. Is truly inspiring. It's really inspiring for that. We are grateful for your valuable advice and stories, and we wish you continued success in creating meaningful impact and helping people keep. It has been a absolute pleasure having you with us, so thank you, and thank you again. And lastly, can you little bit advice for me, and come like rating for this interview and questions.
I just have one thing, but make sure we do it before we stop. So it's my birthday tomorrow, right? And I am asking people to get one plastic big, rubbish bag, like a black bag, and fill it full of
Yeah,
trash or
yeah, I know
rubbish,
that.
depending.
Yes, yes.
Yes, and post it on social media in solidarity with what we're doing here to build positive mindset and to make a difference in places like Cambodia, and hopefully in the future, we can help in Pakistan and other places as well. Um, so solidarity with the work that we're trying to do is pick up a bag full of trash from out there, and take some media photo or video or whatever, post it on social media, use the
Hello.
hashtag Kampuchea is beautiful, right? Or Cambodia is beautiful, and put it up there, right? That's what I'm asking. Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much. And please share with me your post about crushing, and you also share
Yes.
with me. So I'm also share with my students, my teachers, and my also social media platform. So guys, it's time to ending the interview. Please connect with Robin for more informations and motivation. So see you next time with another podcast series, uh, and a special guest like him. And thank you so much, and Allah Hafiz.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Goodbye.